Welcome back to PWA for Beginner series. This is the second video of Chapter 1 where we'll be introduce you to service workers. Today, here with me is again Patrick. So
Hi,
Patrick.
Everyone. Very glad to be back.
Yes. So Patrick, in the previous video, you said a little bit, you mentioned a little bit about service workers and that's needed to build a PWA. Can you tell me a little bit more on, what it is and?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the most important part of any progressive web app. So let's spend some time on it. A service worker is really just a file. If you want to get started simply, that's one file that contains JavaScript code, and you'll add this JavaScript code file to your app, and it'll be responsible for making your application reliable. So bottom line, you need one to get started with building a PWA. So create the file and then register it in your application. So typically in your application, you'll have an HTML homepage. It often will be called index.html. That's where you have the homepage for your app. And in there, you're going to be using a JavaScript function called navigator.serviceworker.register. And that's where you're going to tell the browser to load your service worker, right? So why it's called a service worker? And the reason is that it runs separately from the rest of your application. Normally on the web, if you build a normal website, everything runs in a single thread. That means everything, like all of the CSS, all of the JavaScript runs one after the other in one big sequence. There's nothing parallel, nothing much is parallel. But on the web, you can also use workers, and those run in separate threads. So separately from your website, they can do work at the same time as what your website is doing. And service workers are they're one type of workers, really. And they make it possible to run all of the code that's responsible for making your app offline capable and reliable in the background. And in fact, even if the app isn't running. So the service worker is mostly responsible for intercepting, modifying, and responding to network requests. It can do other things too, but those are the most important things. And it does this by using two APIs, the fetch API and the cache API. So it can know when your application is trying to load some resources from the server or get some data. And when that happens, it can choose to either go to the network and actually get the data or go to the cache instead. And that's how it can be, that's how it makes your application network reliable. Because it can decide, for example, in the background to cache a whole lot of data in the local cache memory so that next time, if you're offline, it can actually go to the cache to retrieve the data instead of going to the network.
Cool. So I think you mentioned offline earlier. So how can I actually make my app work offline?
So it's really going to depend on your application, right? Applications, real applications that you install on your PC or Mac or mobile device, they just work, right? So when you tap on the icon, it opens up. Even if you don't have internet access, it will show some form of a custom offline message, right? The app will still work, it will still open up, and maybe it will show something like, oh, sorry, you're offline, I can't download your latest messages or whatever, something like that. So that's going to be the most important thing to start when you are building your service worker, is to make sure that you download enough information in the cache so that your application can display something. Typically, that means you'll be downloading the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript that your application needs, putting that in the cache so that the next time the app is opened, then you don't need to download them again from the server. They can be loaded from the cache directly. And then loading a custom offline page is something that will be really important. If we take the example of a chat application, for example, the most important first step is going to be to cache all of those static resources that your application needs. So that's what I was saying about the CSS, JavaScript, images, HTML, everything that your application needs to even start up. So put that in the cache API, using the cache API, put that in the cache, local cache storage, so that the app can still load. And then if the application needs dynamic content, like the chat messages in the example, perhaps you could store those ones in the cache as well, or IndexedDB. So like all of the recent messages, you could store them in the IndexedDB, maybe not all of them, but maybe only the most recent ones, so that when you're offline, then the service worker can detect that there's no network, and it can go and display the most recent messages from the cache instead of going to the server and offering that custom offline message as well.
That all sounds really nice, but I feel like it's a little bit complicated as you're explaining through it. How do I get started simply?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When I got started with PWA, I was also very, very confused by service workers at first. Again, as I was saying before, they're really the brain behind the app. And so they contain a lot of complicated logic sometimes, but you should really take it in step. Don't try to cover everything from the start. Start with a simple caching logic at first, then handle the custom offline message. If you have honestly, if you have a great custom offline page, it's not like the blank page, blank default experience. That's going to go a long way in making your app feels like it's a real app, right? And then you can go and do more than that, right? But don't do it all from the start. Take it in steps, and it's also all going to depend on the use case of your app. And the other thing I want to say there is that you don't have to do it alone. There's tons of resources out there to build your service worker. I'm showing a few of them here on the screen. Web.dev is a great place to go to. At Microsoft, we also have some great documentation about service workers and progressive web apps in general. There's also a library that I want to talk about, which is Workbox. It's a great library because it allows you to make the code of your service worker much simpler, and you don't have to worry about a lot of complexity as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I think, thank you for all the resources that listed on the screen as well. But you said service worker could also do some other stuff, right? I think I remember earlier in the video.
Right.
What about these other things?
So let me give you a few examples. I think one of the most well-known is probably something called push messages. You need to use them well because they can be a little bit frustrating sometimes if you get too many. But when they're used well, they're really a great way to re-engage users with your app. And the great thing about service workers is, again, they run separately from your app. And that means even if your app is not being used, if it's not open currently on the device, the service worker is listening. So if your server is sending push messages to you, to the device, then the service worker can catch them, and it can then just show a notification on the screen whenever they occur. So that's one example that is very good. The other one, I think, which is a little bit less well-known, is that service workers can do periodic updates. You can set up your service worker in a way that periodically, maybe once a day or once a week, it can go and do any kind of work that you want it to do. And one example is to go to the server to fetch new data. So if you have, for example, a news app, you could say, set up your service worker to once a day get all of the latest articles from the server, so that whenever the user opens up the app, they're guaranteed to have fresh content directly without having to wait for them to be downloaded.
That's awesome. And also, thank you, Patrick. I think that's all for Service Worker for today. That was a great introduction. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as usual, here are some of the resources that we recommend you to go check out on your own if you want to explore more about progressive web apps. Sure. We'll go into a little bit more details, including some code snippet in the chapter 2 when we really go into details about service workers. So stay tuned on that one. And then next up, we'll be talking about capabilities and native integrations.
Thanks, Beth. See you in the next video.
Yeah.